I was camping at a friend's family property with a group of friends. They had a huge, creepy shop. We stayed up late drinking by the fire and I was the last one awake. Went to go pee on the side of the shop and stood about 5 feet away. Looking inside through the window, I noticed that what looked like a piece of paper floating around. I thought it was a moth at the first, but it was moving in a very rhythmic figure 8 pattern. Then it quickly floated back to the corner of the shop where it was dark. I sat back down by the fire to finish my beer and have a smoke. No one else was awake, so I played a game on my phone for a while. I noticed my friend Mark pop out of his tent to pee, then go back in to go to sleep. The next morning, we were having breakfast, and Mark said, "I saw you guys sitting by the fire super late. How late did you stay up?" I told him it was probably 2 or 3 a.m. When he asked who was up with me, I told him I was alone. He said, "I got up to pee and saw you on your phone and 2 people over your shoulder watching you play." He said one person looked bigger, so he thought it was one of our friends, who was a bigger dude. He said the other person was taller and skinny, but none of us are noticeably tall or skinny. I work in the outdoor field and need trips regularly. I once led a trip to the top of the Mount Stringer in North Carolina. It's a tough climb to get to the top and about 6 miles from the nearest road. I was leading a group of 8 middle school kids and had one co-instructor. We were camping out on top of the mountain and it was a beautiful night with a full moon. The kids and the other co-instructor went to bed in their tents. I was really into book I was reading, so I stayed up and read until about 10:30 p.m. I turned my headlamp off to settle in for the night. Everything around me was rather bright from the moon, and from the position I was in, I could see down the trail we had hiked to get to the top. I laid there enjoying the scenery and noticed something moving on the trail. There was a common area, so I perked up. As it got closer, I could tell it was a person. We were in the middle of nowhere and there was someone hiking up the trail with no headlamp or any gear. I was just frozen, watching this person move closer to our camp. The person arrived at the top of the mountain where we were and just stopped. I watched as what appeared to be a man surveyed our camp. I really could only see the outline of him. He stood there for what seemed like 30 minutes but may have been 10. He then turned and sat down under a tree facing our camp. He was sitting up in a way that I knew he wasn't trying to sleep. He just sat there and staring at our camp. I had no idea what to do. I decided to wait it out, just staring at the man while he stared at my camp. This went on until about 3:30 a.m. Then he stood up, took a moment to survey my camp a few minutes longer and then went back down to the trail he came up on. To this day, I have no idea what that was all about, but it freaked me out. I was paranoid that we were being followed for the rest of the trip. She was a very accomplished camper and survival enthusiast. She enjoyed going on solo trips for 2 weeks or so, completely on her own. She explained that she would stop and hit a store a couple hours before her destination to get some supplies and that would be it for people. During her last trip alone, she saw one guy by the store in the truck park along the road fishing. She never saw another person after that. She would see bears, moose, wildlife, but that's it. She spent her time reading and just traveling around. During each trip, she would take 10 or 14 disposable cameras with her. A couple days after one of her trips, she took the cameras in to be developed. When she got them back, she was sitting at home looking through the pictures. Once she got the 5th or 6th roll, she almost had a heart attack. Every 3rd or 4th picture was a picture of her sleeping on a different night. She swore she didn't see another person anywhere. She explained that she has never gone solo or camping for that matter since. Her husband couldn't get her to go anywhere near the woods after that. I went to visit her for the summer and she's very outdoorsy. So we decided to take 1-hour drive from her city to the coast. We end up at this free campsite at the top of this hill. Huge foothills of the coastal mountains, about a 25-minute drive from the top where the campsite is to the bottom where the main road was. And we were the only campers there. We relaxed for the rest of the day. A truck full of men drive up the hill and talk with my mom. I don't know what about. Wasn't suspicious at the time, and they leave us. Fast forward to the middle of the night. I wake up to my mom sitting straight up in the tent. I wake easily, so I heard her gasp, and it woke me. As soon as she saw I was awake, she put her hand over my mouth because I was starting to ask her what's wrong. It was dead silent, and all of a sudden you hear footsteps right beside the tent. The little flap that covers the zipper was even moving. Thankfully, my mom has quick wits and said very loudly, "Kenny, grab the gun." Kenny is my dad. Although that doesn't matter, and mind you, he was not there. Just us girls, like I previously said. They left. No harm was done. Thank the Lord for my mama.